2 competitive HLL events are done and 2 more are coming. We got a total of 23 teams that are going to be in these upcoming ones. And we're going to do the daunting task of ranking them from first, second, all the way down to 23rd. We're joined none other than DasAltberg, the German. He's got a few drinks in him already. I've got my bourbon here. We're ready to do this and bring you all your latest news around the HLL community here in episode 18 of Hell, Let's Talk. And you notice, I was going to say this is going to be an interesting episode. So I had to officiate, got on the full officiating outfit. Digi, you went with the dogs. You went with the dogs on this one.
I just like dogs, man. We got them all in here. We got Patton's dog. We got Sergeant Stubby. We got Chips. Just went dogs because you put on a referee uniform, and I know that's what you love. So I went with what I love. So
it is
what it is. It's good to be back.
Yeah, it is football season, but we're actually, it's funny. A few episodes ago, we were talking about like competitive HLL's dying, it's dead. The spring seasonal was canceled, and now we're at it with a vengeance. And I'm looking forward to it, man.
It's gonna be ramping up full speed real soon here. Like we got back to back games. I know in our lineup here at Esprit Decor. Looking forward to all the fun and thrills that a competitive match can provide. So I think it'll be really good. And that is the topic of today's episode, competitive matches.
And what I'm also looking forward to, and you just can't keep this man in the green room. You just can't keep him. We got to bring him
in his country. He's breaking out, man.
We got to bring DasAltberg in. Das, welcome, buddy. And he's still remembering that we use push and talk.
Yep. And here we go. Wouldn't be a show like Hell Let's Talk without some technical difficulties in the audio department.
Hello. It should
there
be
he
right.
is.
Here he is.
Wait, what? Did you not hear my hello just now? God damn
No, we did not hear your hello.
Hello. Oh, because it's OBS. If I push to talk while I'm OBS, it's not actually sending the push to talk. Oh, it's amazing. And let me redo it.
All right,
hello, everybody. Hello, chat.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I'm uncomfortable now.
It's just gonna get worse, Diggy.
Yeah, he been drinking. What time is it over there in the proud fatherland?
Drinking time.
Drinking time. Isn't that all time?
23 minutes after 9 p.m. So it's fine.
It's fine.
That sounds solid.
And actually, I gotta give a shout out. If you're gonna have any valuable member of your community, whether it be a commander, an artilleryman, find somebody that works and co-owns a liquor store, because they give you the best recommendations. Here, I got this Mitcher single barrel straight Kentucky rye. That's what I got going on tonight. And based upon the pre-show, we went a full glass for this one because we're gonna need it. Daz, what are you drinking over there today or tonight?
I should stop clicking on OBS. I'm drinking a lovely Castelgi traditional distilled Sicilian lemon gin. I'm drinking lemon gin from Italy. Yay!
That was fancy.
Wow, that is fancy.
That is fancy.
That's just we got contact to the Italians because of the thing in the past.
something that happened. You guys were really tight,
we were on soccer together. That's why.
Before we get into this, you drinking anything fun today?
Oh, just kind of wake myself up. It's 12 o'clock here in the beautiful West Coast. Just getting some coffee and Bailey's going, so keeping it real. But all the same, I'd like to say toast and Prost to our German co-host DasAltberg joining us today.
Prost.
All right, so let's go ahead and just jump into it before we do the 23 competitive teams, which was fun producing this. Hopefully, we'll have fun having with it. But let's kind of talk about the news. And I actually I got to read from here. Dev Brief 143. I do like when the developers are honest, especially with their with their shortcomings. They say on here, you may have also noticed that developer briefings have been a little bit shorter the last few weeks, as we've been very busy working on improvements for the upcoming patch. Yeah, we've got to. It's not. I'm gonna say just the last few weeks. I would say it's been. There was a dry spell before update 10. Last one's not a lot of stuff for us to go from. But Digi, there is one thing.
I know.
One thing. Look at that smile.
I've been waiting. Smile. I've been waiting so patiently.
What for, Digi?
We are bringing in the boom sticks. Trench guns are coming in. I couldn't be. The update in dev brief 142 gave us the lowdown that the Winchester is coming into the game. Now, a lot of technical aspects, it was not a major proponent in the European front, but I think futuristically that could see its introduction into maybe a Pacific front developers, maybe pre-planning this one out, but it was not as heavily used as more around bases and MP use, but I could not care because I love shotguns. Shotguns and me go back since the early gaming days with Quake and Doom. I think it's a great addition to this because they do what they're intended to do. It's short range to medium, and they're clearing trenches and houses in lickety split. And I think we have a video of a Winchester here. With the particular feature of the Winchester is called slam firing, and I don't know if it's going to make it in because we haven't been teased a lot of stuff, but just watch how fast this shoots.
Yeah, we're gonna go through it one more time here. It looks like it's holding 5 rounds. We don't know exactly what it's going to come out to. But these 5 rounds go out.
2.5 seconds, 5 rounds. So that's pretty much going to take care of any trench or clearing a house game that I could foresee if this is brought in. But I love shotguns. I think this is definitely a change for the better. I look forward to seeing how it's implementing. I've seen them in numerous World War II games in the past. They could either be overpowered or they can be underpowered. So it's really finding that medium ground where they have their purpose and they function to serve that purpose. I can't wait. Don't know.
The thing is also which classes are going to get them. That's the big one, isn't it?
That's true, and I definitely think we could see that coming in a support role, an engineer role. That's your traditional sense. It's more like in the supporting, not so much in the in front. I'm going to be leading a charge with them. I cannot wait. I am so excited to have that news. And I think it's long overdue, so we'll see what comes of it. But it probably won't be a Russian variant. It's just going to be the US maps for now. I don't know what they're going to do as a counterbalancing, so we'll see. Who knows? Maybe we see a drilling from the Germans.
Exactly.
Did the Germans have an equivalent of a shotgun in any of their theaters?
The drilling, which was handed out to the Luftwaffe. The airplanes had that on board.
It was an emergency, hey, we've been downed. It's kind of like a hunting rifle. 2 barrels, side-by-side shotgun with a rifle round, I believe, underneath. The drilling was it's a very collectible rifle, and to this day, and maybe we see that as a equivalent on the German side. We will see.
And I think you bring up a good point, Das. Where would this go to? Because I think the default answer is let's give more stuff to support players. But support players now can see recon. Support players it's basically, I feel like, what do we have to do to incentivize you guys to play the basic role that all our metagame is set up for? Do we need kill streaks, achievements or things of that nature? I don't know. But no, I can see this.
Just give it out to the medic and everybody is going to say, hey, medic, cool.
Medic, oh boy.
Life taker and saver there as the medic. But it'll be interesting. So they said, hey, we're working on the upcoming patch, and that'd be patch number 16. Mm-hmm. And I think for a lot of that, it kind of just sounds a little bit of lip service, if you will. But if you look actually at some of the patch notes, which we'll link down here, to the show notes here, patch 16 actually kind of has some substantial meat on the bone here, which I don't know if it's to me, I kind of feel okay, I like these changes. I think they're good. I'm willing to give it a little bit more time. There wasn't necessarily anything groundbreaking for update 10. This almost kind of feels like a little mini update. Let's go kind of go through a little bit of these things. And let you guys decide whether this is worth the time or whether this should have been an update 10 with the early access release. General quality of life improvements, highlight a few of these here. I know a lot of people, especially frustrating, they're going to orientate the compass to the map, the tactical map, which I think for a lot of people, that is just something that blows their mind that you have this disconnect.
Because people can't think spatially. Like, again, people that struggle with the map are still going to struggle with the map. I don't think orientating is going to make that much of a difference.
Yeah.
But people asked for it, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm one of the disgruntled few that liked how it was because it actually matched the actual, that was the whole point to, if you're going to make an actual map and that's the layout, keep it to the factual fact that that's the orientation. But
yeah. Now, does that mean they're going to orientate the tactical map, which I think would be good? Or is that going to be just, hey, simply, we're just going to line this up here?
This is north.
I think you're right, Digi. It's not like suddenly someone's going to do this and become map awareness god. This was the only thing preventing me from having map awareness was True North and Map North. I don't know. So,
I mean, in the end, where north and south and west and east, this is unimportant. You just need to see, oh, there's a ping, oh, there's a marker. You know where shit is if your squad leaders and everybody else interacts well.
Very true. Very true. There's so many other tools out there. I mean, if you want to get the technical, you can still say map north, even when the map doesn't orientate north, and they'll get it.
Yeah,
I think when anybody says north, everybody's
north.
like up, south is down. So
we got that. They also said improving the reliability of voice over IP connections. Now, this is actually something with the guys I've been gaming with, I've noticed that the voice over IP bug has actually got a little bit. Seems like that little stock ticker starting to go up. More and more people having issues. So not sure if it's something that Viavox changed, if it's something going on with the servers or whatnot. But they're acknowledging that, hey, they're doing it. Now, what does the improvement says? It doesn't say. Let's say what it doesn't say. It doesn't say fixed. It says improve.
It's ongoing. And it'll always be ongoing. I think they've been continuing to crack down on it, and I haven't noticed any super technical bugs. I got hit with it once in the last month, and that's it. So I think it's gone down tremendously. It's trending away from being a hot topic. I don't know. What's your thoughts, Das? Does it ever happen to you?
I only played so much and I'd lose. Why am I on this show? Goddammit! No, but I think the thing is, back in the day, it was mostly that the voice over IP problem was that the quality was fine, but it kept canceling out. And now the quality is very low on the voices, but at least it's working most of the time. So it's a bit like they dropped the quality overall with the sound quality, and yet the connections are better now.
That sounds like the beginning of this show. We were having our technical issues and the bit rates and all that fun stuff. So yeah, no, I think it's good. I'm just trying to stabilize at this point, and I'm glad it's not finished, as you said. It really hasn't said fixed. It's going to be ongoing, and hopefully we get it to that point where it's just minute of an issue.
I think I read something on the official Discord a few months ago that they mentioned one of the devs, I think Jumbucks or somebody, mentioned it. Basically the voice over IP bug is basically fixed. There's nothing really going on. And now they're going a bit back, so I think they have at least acknowledged that there is a bit of a bug. They need to fix it more. So good thing, I would say.
Das is a braver man than me than jumping on the official HLL Discord.
Angel, I love it. Basically, if I want to have a good time, I go into the feedback channel, just get myself some popcorn, some whiskey, some other thing, and just read for the suggestions. Oh, it's bliss.
That's a hot soup of chaos I do not want to take a dip in.
Last quality of life.
Pain.
Last quality of life improvement. I think this is actually nice. They're going to put a timer on when the mark's on there, so that especially for tankers, hey, when was the last time that tank was on there? That was good. But there's also some meta changes coming, Digi.
As far as the meta changes, and we always like to talk meta, because that makes the game. Critical downed players. So this is you are in the near-death state, bleeding out, waiting for that medic that's never going to come to you, holding hope. They no longer block spawns. Now, this is a big strategy used by some of the veteran players and those in the know, is you could hold up a spawn wave coming out of a garrison within proximity. I think it's like 10 to 15 meters.
15 meters,
being downed in that down position. If you were smart and you saw it, but they got you before you got the garrison, you could wait it out, choke off any spawns coming in there. And essentially they had to throw a grenade at you. And I've had fun times telling people, I don't have any grenades. Can you please kill this guy? He's killing our spawns for minutes and minutes and minutes of time. But yeah, it was a sound strategy, but it's going away. So that is going to be a huge meta change that I think those in the know will miss. I won't. I think, I think if you're going to do it the pure way. Don't lock it out just because you're dead. You're dead essentially at that stage.
Yeah, once you're incapacitated, you're not. Right now, you're not providing any cap strength when you're incapacitated.
I know every single. Yeah, I know Das has done it. I know Inchon's done it. I've done it countless times, but I won't miss it. I think it'll be a change for the better.
I'm
Go ahead, Das.
innocent. Yeah, I did that. Yes.
You totally did. Don't even.
Of course I did.
I think
I'm
everybody
useless
views
even
that.
in death.
Useful, yes.
Indeed.
No, in my case, not.
The other meta changes we saw was the repair stations. And the cost to build them with your resources has gone from 100 down to 50. Will that mean we will now actually see them being built on the battlefield? Well, let me throw this one in. They did the same change to the AT gun. And where do you still see these on the battlefield? So what are your thoughts, Das? Do you think you're going to see repair stations being built now?
To make a comparison, what are these ancient legends of AT guns you're talking about? I haven't seen an AT gun since update 9, I think, at this point.
The
No,
legend
seriously,
foretells of an
don't-
AT gun.
I mean, if you already built, if you're in a competitive scene, you had to build some repair stations for whatever reason, then you already built them. It's going to change a bit of the meta with competitive, but public, I mean, it's like garrisons. It's a thing that's not getting built.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that extra 2 minutes. Who's got time for it, right? I've tanked as a tanker and sat next to 3 of those. You are indestructible. So they do have a place when used effectively. But public matches, I think it's the same. It's the same as asking for somebody to build a node or a garrison. Really depends on the game and who's playing.
End of the day, I think they're still trying to show some more tankers, some more love. Like, man, like tankers have been abused. What else could we possibly, give to tankers? And one other thing, I think they're changing the rockets for the Americans. Is that right, Digi?
That is true. So now, goodbye U.S. advantage. They're taking everybody down to the level playing field of 2 rockets. AT, and as we were talking in our last tanking episode, last show, AT's been overpowered up to this date. Germans always had 2 in their Panzer Schrecks, and then we are coming down to the base bazooka, having 2 rounds for the Allies, so everybody's get a level playing field. I think we're going to see a little less yeeting. We're going to see a little less rockets used for infantry purposes, clearing buildings and stuff. What am I kidding? They're still going to be shooting at soft targets, and you're going to get blown up by more. So I think it's a good balance because the smart players will now have to flank as they always have been. Those in the know will always try and get those shots in the ass of a tank prior to just yeeting one from 200 feet and crossing your fingers. So I don't know what you guys, I think AT's been overpowered. So this was a good change in my opinion. What are your thoughts there, John?
I mean, I think if you look at the 18v18, it was interesting watching the videos where it was just rockets going back and forth, like some type of like Star Wars battlefield, just I think they could 2 ways they could have taken this. Either they could have made the Panzer Schreck more powerful to offset for the 2, or they could have reduced it and made it very symmetrical instead of going asymmetrical with it. I think for the tankers, this is once again our love. I never understood why the U.S. got the advantage when clearly, historically. Now, we don't got Johnny Gunner on the show, but the Panzer Schreck was a more effective weapon against armor.
Yes.
So,
yes.
Talking about armor, there's a few things going on there. They're going to go ahead and reduce the collision effects or the size of collision so that shells should not get stopped by one piece of barbed wire or shooting through fences, things of that nature.
So it's European engineered barbed wires, man. You can't break them.
Yeah, it's strong like ox. And then I do like this one. They're going to be adding the ability for the gunner to do more precise movements by using like a shift, almost like the sniper. Where you can kind of hold your breath, get a little bit more precise. I like this because as we talked about on the last episode, they said they kind of reduced the skill ceiling of tanks with the update 10. I think this might be a nice, acknowledgement or something that a skilled gunner could hit more precise shots than just anybody else. So, we'll see what comes out of there for that. But Das, I think the big problem or the big thing they've been highlighting on the PTE. And I don't know if you've got in is the Stalingrad updates as far as optimization. What's your overall thoughts of like Stalingrad and future optimization to it, Das?
I could do a little skit here. My idea about Stalingrad is the following. Funny German, I know it's insane, but I have played Stalingrad and it's a hard map at the moment because of the lags of the little lags. Secret little buildings that nobody knows about there. You can literally go inside the roof of buildings and shoot down that yellow house. Oh, so many people died there. But I mean, it's an odd one because let me just bring you back. You're young. You think about the Battle of Stalingrad. How is it gonna look? Well, it's gonna be filled with snow. It's gonna be house ruins, and it's just gonna be a dire situation. And you get a summery feel. It's such an odd map to look at.
Yeah, well, I think these optimizations, it's the same old cheeky breaky map, but it's now going to be less GPU breaky map. So we'll really have to see how that plays out and what optimization is done. I think it's going to be the same smart pass materials that they did in the past for the tanking. So if it all improves my GPU and my FPS goes up, I'm smiling. I still don't like playing that map.
Hold on. I don't want to let this pass by because I want to give credit and let me give that to breathe, because Digi put in the show notes specifically cheeky breaky, and I was like, I don't know if I've actually ever seen it spelled out cheeky breaky, but less GPU breaky. I was like, that joke needs to breathe a little bit there. Let's just breathe it in. So no, I think you're right.
It's the hard bass, man. Get culturized. that's Russian hard base. But yeah, other bug fixes in the same vein that we've done and fixed is the throwing grenades with poor network conditions can cause the player to become unable to throw that type of grenade. I didn't know that was an issue. It's tied to the connection, and I'm going to turn this right over to DOS. What's your thoughts?
It's not connected. That's bullshit times 5. I have that bug a lot of times, and I get it on Australian servers, on German servers, on American servers, English servers. I get them on all the time. Not always constantly, but it's not the connection. If that is a problem, then holy shit, what the fuck? But the bug you're getting, Diggy, the bug you're getting is you equip the grenade, you click the left mouse button to throw the grenade, and the animation just waddles for a second. Then the animation phase, the cooldown is on, and you can't throw the grenade. And then you try to keep throwing it, nothing is happening.
And then you get shot, my friend. Like, I've been there. I've been in that.
It's horrid.
It's the most horrible fucking bug, because you'll be coming up on an OP and you want to throw the nade at it to. And you're just sitting there like, you know.
If I can trail off for a second, there's one bug that's worse, that's still in the game, which none of you fuckers know, because none of you are playing medic. But I'm the fucker that played medic when it was still 1 XP for bandaging and 2 XP for reviving.
Hardcore.
I grinded medic back, and I was a moron. But anyway, I loved it. But the bug is that nobody knows about except medics. There's often a body on the floor, and you try to revive him, but the body's actually not there. It's only there for your client, for your player, while the actual corpse is 10, 20 meters away. So you run in the open, try to resurrect him, you get killed, and then you hear, why didn't that other medic help me?
It's the ghost momentum, man. Your body carries through the afterlife, didn't you know? There's some kinetic energy at play we don't know. I know what you're talking about, because yes, you can be teleported from where you thought you died, and you're like, what? You know, I'm right there with you.
Good thing nobody plays medic.
That's exactly what my point is. Good thing nobody knows of it, because nobody
I
plays
always
it.
feel bad for like the level 30 or 40 that joins my squad. It's like, hey guys, I'm going to be medic, and I'm just like, oh, you're running with a bunch of level 200s. We're not going to wait for you, buddy. We're not going to release. Like,
I don't crush people's dreams that come up with that. And the final and last bug fix that they did, and this is, other than the grenade, I think the most infuriating is there was no quit or leave server button at the end of the game screen. So if you're done playing, you couldn't leave. It was like a Hotel California. You were stuck in the lobby until the next game started. Then you can just hit escape and then leave game that way. But you would be locked in at that final page. You know, your points already been tallied, and you just want to get the hell out of there, go to bed. But you're stuck there until the 2-minute timer winds down and the next map loads. So that was a very annoying bug that I'm glad to see fixed. But there's more. I think to your section there, Inchon, because this.
Yeah, so this isn't of all the bugs that have been in there, and like, granted, that's a quality of life bug.
Yeah,
we talked about the grenade. That's game breaking.
Game breaking.
Yeah, there is one other that I don't know if people have realized how frustrating it is. The American industrial complex apparently has just been in overdrive. They've been working overtime, and they have teleported back bulletproof glass for the transport and supply vehicles. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, but you've been frustrated, you might have been in a moment kind of like this right here. This is actually coming from Max Amali here. He gets a transport truck. He's on the SCG. He's laying in it. Oh, man. Okay, second one must have missed. Here comes this transport truck right there.
It's just a bad shot. That's all
Oh,
it is.
with love to Max. Yeah, let's watch it one more time. And yes, the Discord ping, if you guys were listening to Discord, someone didn't join, is actually in this video. A little trolling there. There you go, no one joined your Discord. But look at this, look at this. Right in the head. Finally gets him on that. I mean, that's just ugly. I mean, that fix has to come in update 6. I have to say, once I realized this, I've actually used this to my advantage a few times when driving a supply truck. Oh, you're damn right I am going to.
Yeah, I think you fucking run me over once or twice with that, and it is the most furious thing. Like, it's just infuriating. Like, I lose my mind. I've hit you in the face.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, this is actually a new feature they're going to introduce, which is going to for the commander abilities, bulletproof glass for trucks.
It's gonna be the Pope-mobile. I want the Pope-mobile.
That's an achievement, I would say. That's an achievement. You don't get killed by driving the truck for 500 hours. Pope-mobile achievement. That's good.
Pope-mobile. I like it. We don't have Mosca in on this one. I was going to say, shout out to Mosca, Johnny Gunner. We're bringing you back on next episode. But yeah, we need Mosca to do the Pope-mobile supply truck going around where just the commanders just waving at people left and right. So yeah, I mean, that's it. And I was going to say, there's been some other news happen around. DOS, we talked about last show. Your suppression mechanic video was a great reminder to have you back or bring you on the show finally. I think the word's kind of gotten out around that. Replay on that one. Have you changed any of your gameplay since you've realized that suppression mechanic, DOS?
Mostly as a joke, because people now keep telling me, Altberg, why don't you go medic? Because then we get less suppression. Not really. I have noticed. The thing is, you actively notice it as soon as because I watched that part last week, and you actually cut it off because I actually afterwards also show when it's just the squad leader and you next to each other. It actually is just helping if you're straight next to the squad leader. It already reduces the incoming suppression by quite a bit. Yep. So I started noticing if I played some Hand Loose today with Bill and some others. Well, Bill Jammett, yay! And actually I noticed that as soon as Bill is getting closer to me, the suppression is getting noticeably lower. If you actually focus on it, you actually notice that shit. It's not going to help me, but it is a nice idea.
Okay, so Das, you brought up a good point. While Bill jamming, he has not put out a video. He has made a video. He didn't release the video before update 10. I saw the little bit of private reserve of Wild Bill there. What are we gonna do to get Wild Bill to make some more videos, Das?
The problem is, Secret Infos Bill actually made a video some weeks ago, a full video about notes, and he didn't upload it. He actually deleted it and he sent it to the devs. Oh. He told the devs, guys, this is shit. And they said, yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Bill. I don't know what the accent they have. Thank you, Mr. Bill. No, that's very nice.
I think Bill would be flattered by your accents. Just because me trying to do you.
I'm known for my great accents, I know.
We got to do the Wild Bill impression. Laid back in the chair, all the way back.
I mean, the thing is, Bill doesn't want to upload just videos of him moaning about everything. But basically, that's the thing that would be necessary.
What the British do? Isn't that what the British do?
It's a very rainy country. That's all I can say.
All right. Well, anyway, having a little fun with there.
You American fuckers, you.
I'm in Canada, but all right.
It's all the same. Yeah. So let's get to the heart of the show here. Really getting into the competitive spirit. And if there's anybody that has probably watched more competitive games, it's got to be DasAltberg doing the broadcasting. Was one of the original guys to bring competitive HLL before the admin cam to the mainstream. Done a great job with that.
Yes.
We've got competitive. We had, was it the 18v18s wrapping up? We just got the final two. I want to say it's DC versus 82nd AD going into the finals. You just had the Summer Cup wrap up with Core beating Hive. You've got competitive scrims going all the way around as people get ready for the fall seasonal. I believe September 10th, you got the HL Premier League kicking off from BR1. Yes. A whole different kind of setup where you actually go into a more seasonal type of play and then a single elimination round knockoff. And with all this going on and people in new clans moving around and, who's who and what's what, I decided to have, as opposed to just say, here's who the teams are, let's have a little fun with it. Let's pick the meat on this bone. Let's actually try to rank all these competitive teams between what they've done in the seasonals and what they've done in the International Cup and where they're going at, and have a little fun with it. And Das said that was a horrible idea. Because Das, listen, before we jump into it, some of the challenges on this, go ahead and explain some of the challenges of ranking these guys.
Well, the problem is with ranking any of the teams is what format, as in 50 versus 50 or 18 versus 18. It depends on which map they have. It depends on which players are available. You might get some amazing players one week, and you might get the cannon fodder next week.
Yeah.
It's so varying. It's so liquid, I think is the term for that. It's so varying when it comes to actually deciding. Oh, these guys are amazing. Like my example is the 82nd AD. An OC.
They're on the list. We're gonna get there.
I know. But it's about they're doing this, and then the next week they're doing this. So it's really going to be hard to say, oh, these guys are either shit or they're amazing or they're somewhere between. It's going to be very, very wide. If I could, I'm not going to spoil anything, but I already have one winner that is going to win definitely the next tournament.
He's got his ace in the sleeve here. So
and it's not going to be pie.
Let's talk about who's not on this list, and when because there's a lot of communities. So if you are not participating in the HL Premier League or the fall seasonal, we did include you with exception of one community, Exodus, because I think they believe, when we'll talk about this, I think they will be coming into the competitive. They were involved on the Summer Cup. They got a lot of history, but we had to include Exodus. But teams that aren't on there, Digi, who's some of the teams we're not involved in right now?
Well, we've got Never Play Alone, MPA, Holding Flanks, Killing Tanks, and I've got that right this time because I'm reading it right off the page. HFKT out of Australia, the Australian AIF, another Australian team, I believe, Phoenix, and 143rd Texas.
Yeah,
are the
AIF,
teams that are not going to be participating on this list for the reasons you were just mentioning.
Yeah, AIF, Allied Imperial Forces. I know they
Allied
had
Imperial Forces, yes.
2 out of 3 that they wound up doing better than getting the best of HFKT. But I would say talk a little bit about that. MPA has decided to kind of back off from competitive play. Now, some of their members may be joining some other communities to still get some of that. But MPA, I think, was one of the bigger names in that list that's been involved in a lot. That's kind of going into a rebuilding period
since the beginning. Those guys, Dix originally and turned into MPA, been part of the community since the early days of the development of this game. So you're going to see those kind of faces and names still floating around, playing other groups. Ourselves, like Esprit, we have a couple of MPA players joining us in for the odd game here and there, and fantastic people. Happy to have them.
So let's go ahead and the other team that's not going to be ranked on here is, I think it's not fair to rank ourselves. Digi and myself, both part of Esprit de Corps. So we're not giving a ranking to us. Just got a little introduction here, or we're paired up with Garrison OnlyFans, who Garrison OnlyFans were a subcomponent of MPA as a self kind of, contained unit. They're now paired up with us. We came over from the Hell Let Loose training camp. We haven't got a lot of competitive experience. Well, we've had it before in other organizations. We got 2 scrims under our belt. We're a North American team. That's about it. I was gonna say, did you anything to kind of add before we just kind of
like I said, there's we've got a lot of experience in competitive, but we, as this new formation under Esprit Corps, have not played anything tournament ranked, so we will disclude ourselves, and it eliminates any bias. Das could say whatever he wants, but we cannot.
Indeed.
I'm very biased.
Very biased. So let's go ahead and just jump to it right now. Ranking, that's 23, we put on there, but this is ranks 19th through 22nd. And I think on this lower tiers, it's kind of hard to actually say, hey, these are higher than this one. We got to play it out. Power Pits Gaming Team, we've actually had them on the show before. Frank came on.
Yep, Frank came on.
And I would say, 2 of these teams, actually, Power Bits and Easy, have been a foundation of the HL community that actually has had other people split off and go to other teams, and yet they're still here, they're still active, they're still involving. Good teams all around, good communities. I was gonna say, Das, I think we've seen Tango a few times on the matches, correct?
Yeah. At the start, I thought Tango was just 22nd Panzergrenadier, but they have. I'm going to make the joke again in a moment when we see them. But they have Tango. Yes, we have seen Tango a few times, actually. I think we're in a few cups.
Yep, and then I mean, they're in there. I was going to say they've been involved in a lot of teams. They got some experience. haven't quite pinched or gotten a big win yet, kind of under the belt, at least from what we can see in our history. And I'll let you guys know this was as much research as I can done. If I missed something before, I'm sure you will let me know in the comments. The great thing about the internet, they will always let you know if you mess up. But here's things that I actually want to put on. That this is the first French team that we're going to see on this list. ARC, Advanced Recon Commando, unless I'm going to slaughter. Oh, hold on, Das. Go ahead. Can you get us our French? Les papis.
Le papier flingeur.
Oh, so much better than I could have done. So now we consulted my French expert on this. Apparently, this is like the Fighting Grandpas. I kind of like it.
Epic name. Very great.
I love their icon on here. They've been fighting together for a year. Been involved in some of the French competitions, whatnot. I think this will be interesting to see what they do as they've been together for a year. Come to get seeing what they can punch. They're actually going to be part of the fall seasonal. And once again, guys, not all these teams are in the same league. This is all 23 going across the board. Before we get off this screen, anything that stands out to you, Das or Digi?
Yeah, like I said, this is by no means defining. Like, these are all wonderful communities. This is just how the performance in the competitive scene has gone through. And I did not rank them. Inchun did all of this ranking. So if you're going to point a finger, that guy down there.
I mean, ranking wise, I couldn't tell you because I have never seen an actual tango match. I have seen their names on competitive things, but I've never seen them play. Easy Combat I've seen play once, am I all right?
Yep.
The French, I don't know, and I should not talk about them because I'm German. Powerbits, of course, we know because they are one of the original one of the older communities where 82nd was made from and other communities were made from because they split off now. So they are the brood mother of Hell Let Loose clans.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they get some respect for just being old themselves. I don't know what the term would be, but I'm just gonna use that word because I'm German.
I like it. Go with it. So all right, so let's get on to the next grouping here, getting into the 16th through 18th. You talked earlier about the 20th PZG, who are actually pairing up with the second AD as part of the HLL Premier League. We got the first introduction of the Russians on this list. PKKA, which I actually reached out to them, stands for the Workers and Peasants Red Army, or which is just kind of short as the Red Army. I'll give credit to them. In the fall seasonal, they actually placed 5th place out of 8, so had a good showing there. And then we actually got some newcomers coming on here. The Czechoslovakian Battalion, who on the International Cup actually placed 4th. This is kind of hard for me to say, do they make the top 15 off of one tournament? International Cup has some good guys going on.
And this is the first competitive event they took part of, right? That we were aware of?
Well, they had the International Cup, which was a little bit, I would say, it wasn't as necessarily big names as the seasonals that WTH puts on, but it still had some quality teams that are ranked a little bit higher on this list. For these three, I mean, DOS, we've seen a lot of 20th PCG. They actually had a pretty good 18v18 performance, both in the last 18v18 and even again this 18v18.
Got it in the chat here. Starlords, let us know. The CSP guys have been around since the beginning of HLL as well.
That's
so another OG group. First time hearing of them, but yes.
Well, and I think you're going to start to see some of these teams making the transition from casual to competitive as more and more teams come into the competitive area.
And more events come up, regionally based, right? We've got so many different leagues that are sprouting up just regionally located, I think the Aussies had a really good thing going down in the Oceanic tournaments. We've had a lot in North America, and the European have a lot of private tournaments. So there's a lot of opportunities to jump in and get on this. So if you're an up-and-coming team, definitely don't hesitate. Talk to anybody around and get in there. It's not that hard.
DOS, is there anybody on this list that kind of you're saying that might actually surprise, get a few big wins, or
20th Panzergrenadiers. Panzergrenadier. I'm talking American and German. That's Panzergrenadier. There we go.
That's the whole reason we brought you on the show, buddy.
I need to point out that I'm a bit biased on the 20th because quite a few of them are actually followers of my channel, yada, yada, yada. But I have seen them playing. They can actually do some good shit.
Yeah,
I know CSP. I haven't seen them as in. I haven't seen games, but I know they can do some good shit. I've not heard ever about the Workers and Peasants Red Army, but that doesn't mean shit. They could still be amazing. I'm a moron. PKK, yeah, I have seen PKK.
Yeah, well,
Never mind, I'm a moron. Yeah, they were interesting. Let's face it like that.
Yeah, me and Inshan personally have played on 20th Panzer Grenadiers and the PKA recently in a scrimmage match. Yeah, definitely two teams to watch out for. I think the organization is definitely there to become a powerhouse. I think it's a good building block group. Definitely getting in more competitive matches.
I don't know if these teams are going to take down any top 10s, but I can definitely see them pulling down a win that makes us kind of look up and go, okay, they got something going on there. I think you're right on the right track with the 20th on this one, Das. They've got the foundation built.
Yeah.
If adding the second AD, I think it's going to be a little bit of a wild card factor. Is that going to be enough for them to punch, and maybe take down a top 10 team on this list? I'm not sure, but it's definitely a wild card factor. So let's go ahead and get in. So those were the last couple groupings on there. Let's get to rank by rank, really kind of top 15 here, and we're going to go ahead and start with number 15. This was an interesting one for me to be. I think we arguably kind of say maybe they float up a couple ranks, but BR1 and TL. For those that don't know, this is actually they have their genesis from Easy Company, and each different time I want to say the line broke out first. And then BR1 broke out separately, and now they've kind of, they've been independent, but they're coming together as alliance for the competitive scene. Now, as an alliance, though, I don't know. Though it's kind of hard to see where they're at. If you go back to the fall season in 2020, when they were all under Easy Company, they placed 7th. If you look at the winter seasonal, when it was just the line, they also placed 7th. They've had a couple scrims going around. I think they've faced CNUT. They've had a couple other ones, but they haven't gotten that kind of signature win or signature tournament focus. Or
I think that's pretty appropriate at number 15th. 7th place finish in the fall season. I think pretty high standing to get in there and take 7th. So I think I would put 15th as probably a fair gameplay, depending. Two teams broke away, but the main component of the competitive players are representative here in BR1 and the line. So I could see 15 being appropriate. It's fair.
Yeah.
There's a likely chance of an upset out of these guys. I think you could see some sort of like the 20th Panzer Grenadiers. I think you see an upset of somebody in the lower and upper 10s. You just don't know. I think there's a wild card situation that could come up. Maybe a preferable map and point location could swing a win this way.
Correct. I think that from the American teams, I would love to see more actual North American teams coming up. Well, there's a few more on one more North American team on this list going there, but I'm really kind of pulling for these guys. I want to see them make the North American scene better. I know they're trying. Give credit also to BR1 for hosting and organizing the HL Premier League. If this was an administrative list, they would be up much higher for the work they're doing on there.
That's never easy.
But this is not an administrative list. This is a power ranking list. And we're going to go straight to number 14. And this one, I actually kind of had some fun. I did not know too much about FLL.
What?
Can't say I do either as another... Guy across the pond, please, Das, give us.
You don't know about the Finns that lose.
I played on their server once or twice, but that's about all the experience I have with them.
It's the fans that lose. They are an older community. They are an amazing community with great servers, with great admins that respond quickly. If you want to sponsor me, Finns Let Loose, just
it sounds like we got a fanboy over here.
No, but the thing is, why I know the Finns Let Loose.
This guy's drinking vodka and jumping in cold lakes already.
The reason is I know one of the streamers of one of the former Finns Let Loose players who was Jinx, a Swedish man who's living in Finland. I know the Finns Let Loose. They are all right. They do have some cheeky little plays which they don't always show, but when they show them, their sneaky little plays, they can do some little magic, I think that would be the term.
Yeah.
They're all right. They're all right. I would say that place 14 is fair.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say, talk about some of that magic here. They actually got a win against 82nd AD back in March of 2021, and we'll talk about 82nd. I think that's going to be one of the more controversial ones on this one. But in the International Cup, they lost to Lost Squad in the quarterfinals, who went on, I believe, to win the International Cup. For that one. Lost Squad was no joke on that one. I know they previously got, I want to say, second in the fall season 2020. So at that time, great community, Finn Let Loose bringing in. This is one of those teams making that kind of breach from casual to competitive. I also highlighted here that their roots go deep in FPS games. Red Dead Extra, Rising Storm 2. When I see a team that has those kind of FPS roots, you can't let up on them. You know, they're going to bring their best. They're going to have the history. They're going to know the right angles. They're going to know, they're not just going to be charging in there, especially with those classic games. If someone came to us, what's to say, said, I have a Call of Duty background and Battlefield, I was like, no, yeah.
We're picking on that.
Yeah,
people can change. But, and I like what you said. Like, it's another up and coming, and DOS has been saying they've been around forever, so definitely the talent pool's there. I like the Nordic people. I think there's a world-class people up there, so can't wait to play them. Give us a shout, Finns Let Loose. We're always looking for scrimmage partners. I think, it's good to see. And number 14th, if DOS is cool with it, I'm cool with it, because he knows more than I do about Finns Let Loose.
The Finns are great guys. I can tell you that, at least.
It's fair. So let's go on to 13 here. This one, we get our first introduction of the Germans.
Das Germans,
the 38th Infantry Division. There it is. This one was kind of interesting. 38th have been around in the competitive scene a decent amount. They actually had a pretty good showing in the Summer Cup, was ranked third in the Swiss system, and then actually lost 0-5 to the Spaniards, 501st, and the Bastardos. This one, I think this is the, how do we say this? The Germans in this game are freaking amazing.
Wunderbar.
And it's really hard. Like, if you're gonna say this is the lowest ranked competitive German team, still means that they're one of the best in HLL. You know.
Yeah.
Das, you want to give us some German insight there?
The 83. Infanteriedivision community is a great place. They have some good people. They have some. That was actually German. Yes, I know, fuckers. They have some cool people. They have some tactics. I have not seen all of their matches. I've seen like 5 matches, I think. 4 matches, 5 matches. But they are all right. I don't know if they can have. Well, I don't know if they can actually offer 50 people themselves from the size of the community. But if they are great in addition to any kind of team. As in a team up, they could do really well if they actually team up with some other groups.
So who do you think would make a good matchup with this group if you were just shot call?
I mean,
play matchmaker for me there, DOS. Who do you think would take 38th into the top 10?
I mean, I of course can't tell who I think will win the next tournaments, all the tournaments. But I would say that if they team up with Core, for example, they would probably win everything.
and Core is on the list, so
Core
I was going to say,
yes,
I know.
So I think this is going to be an interesting one. Note on there, the Summer Cup, they were paired up with the 91st, who hosted that. So now they're going out on their own. I could see this one where they want, they definitely want to punch above without them pairing up. DOS, I think this one's going to be interesting. I'm pulling for them. But if I see this upset, this is where I see an upset going with one of those, 19 to 23rd ranked teams going against the 38th, getting to win here. It's going to be interesting. This is going to be a matchup that I'm looking for. All right, and number 12.
One thing I can say for the 13th, for the 38, they have one of the best logos because they really did well on the logo. I just want to point out because I love their fucking logo for some reason.
I do love the logo. I will get to my number 1 logo favorite when we get to there and call that out. But
lovely.
So let's go back down. I would say the Sturm Elite. If this is probably the premier South American team coming out, their clan tags SEVH. It's one of those where I think you don't really notice them too much in public games until all of a sudden this guy is your nemesis.
Huge group. They have their own server. Like, fantastic bunch of people looking to expand more into the competitive scene. They've been around for, as you see, 2016. So been around for a long time. A lot of active players. You can commonly see them cross server boundaries as those South American servers. Either hit or miss, depending on how full they are. But you will definitely run into an SEVH player, and they will be able to perform well within your squad. So I think it's a great community, and definitely putting them top South American team that I've encountered. Definitely first, if not, top 2.
Yeah, I think it's spot on there.
Good.
This was a hard one for me to rank him up to number 12, and I was going to say this is also based upon personal experience I've had with them. The one data point is they did face the camp back last month, and they were actually up 3-2. They wound up losing 5-0 on the match, but it was Kursk. It was a Russian map. This is really going to be their first kind of major introduction that we've seen them on the international stage. I think it will also be interesting to see what server people play on.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that's one of those variables. You get one of those Finlet
lag is the greatest killer, as they say.
Exactly.
You know, I think I could not, you know, I see why 12 was a difficult position. Like if I was to re-rank this, I'd probably have them around like 15th, 16th. I just haven't seen their breakout can play in tournaments. Just been scrimmages up to this point that I've noticed. I would probably not put them as low, but definitely forced to reckon with any game you play. They've got a good organization over there.
Indeed.
I mean, I can't tell much about the Sturm Elite, which is not written that way. I think you mix up the R and the U there.
Sorry.
Storm. But they are using the logo of Prussia, which is a few hundred years earlier.
Yeah.
I'm surprised at that mostly.
Oh boy, it's cool. It's cool.
It's like saying, "Oh, we are Americans." You do like a little feather thing with one of the American tribes, the natives.
Yeah,
it's really awesome.
If we could, we put a hamburger on a flag.
I mean, that would be delicious and lovely.
It'd be delicious. Like you get some bacon on there too.
Yeah.
No, I have heard that the Brazilian scene is growing a bit in Hell Let Loose. I am looking forward to see some Brazilians, some South Americans play this game as well.
Exactly.
Maybe next year we get a Mexican community. Maybe.
Well, and I think I flipped over here to number 11, but before we leave that, I think this is ranking them much more on their potential heading into this one. It's really hard on this to, you know, do we rank where they've been or where I think they're going to be? That one right there. If you guys wind up coming with your own list, I can definitely, you know, see that. But man, I got a feeling they're going to punch above their weight to get to the top 12. But getting to the top 11, here has been the premier. Have we said that too many times?
I think you've said it too many times.
I think I have. The top shelf Spaniard communities, really 501st and the Bastardos coming together. They've actually been consuming more and more competitive play. They've been involved in a lot of different tournaments. We had them in the Greyhound Cup. The Bastardos, Bastardos punched was at the bottom there. 501st actually got up to third place. And then when they all of a sudden combined, I actually think this is two where, you know, the sum of both of them are greater than the parts. They actually got fourth place in the Summer Cup. So it just recently happened.
That's going to help a bit. I mean, Summer Cup was some pretty good competition in that as well.
There was. Go ahead, Das.
I want to address because I have streamed in the Summer Cup and other cups and just normal matches, the 501st and the BST2 guys. And I am still very grumpy with the match against the 116th Panzer Grenadiers, 116th and STB, because what the 501st and the BST2 guys are mostly doing is they, for the most of the game, they are basically holding an insane defense. They're doing amazingly on the defense. And they're just having one group on the attack, which sounds like a silly fucking plan. But with that, they actually start there. They defend. And after like 1 hour, they instantly start like a big wave of people just fucking the whole meta and just winning their games with that, just having the whole defense and then grinding down the morale of the enemy, going in the head, which is insane, and then winning the game. And they didn't do that on the Summer Cup, which is very, very sad. And I'm very angry about that.
Yeah, well, I think there was a battle that we had where they actually had a red zone garrison up, active, and ready to go, and it just wasn't utilized. You know, I think this is I think you're on the right track. This is a team that I think has all the right components, but just needs to get a little bit more aggressive. And if they don't get that aggressiveness, those teams that were ranked down below them are going to make them pay for it.
Yeah.
So I can't in good faith put them in the top 10. But man, they're right on the cusp. They're right on the cusp of getting there.
But they could be so much more if they would just. I'm going on a rant. No, never mind. But they could be so fucking much more if they just would actually focus on their shit. Sorry, they could have made second place in Summer Cup if they were actually doing their shit correctly.
You could have been a contender. So anyway, let's get into the top 10 there. Digi, unless you got anything, we got to give a shout out to Mosca first and foremost.
Mosca,
right?
I was gonna say that's my main man, Mosca, good friend of the show here. He plays with the Bastardos. Yeah, we will have him back in on the next show, hopefully, fingers crossed. So no, definitely, that's my only incorporation because I haven't watched these guys play. So you guys are at the ranking at this point. This is the DasAltberg show.
All right, so let's get to the top 10, and here it is. Exodus putting them in the top 10.
Here's where it gets crazy, eh?
Yeah, let's have some fun. Let's have some fun with this one.
Oh,
so
boy.
Exodus has, I mean, what Das in the most elegant way you can possible.
Yes.
What has happened to Exodus since they won the winter seasonal?
Well, they had a bit of a, in the most friendly way, they had a bit of a internal problem, and they lost a few of their, not the best players necessarily, but best in their area of expertise. Like, oh, a good tanker, oh, a good squad leader. Oh, they lost quite a few. They're basically the 82nd when they dropped all their people to OC. Oh, insider. But yeah, Exodus is still good. Don't get me wrong, they're amazing. But they lost quite a few of their original members, and now they, I think it was an 18 versus 18 match, Exodus against DC, which is now the new group, the splinter group that was made out of AEXT, and DC won.
Yeah, DC won. This is really the kind of, I think, a community of two halves. If you look at, they broke away from PBS, they became Exodus. Love the name, especially with that tradition. They had, happened on there. They went on to win the winter seasonal. I think in a pretty, it was a 3-2 on
very
Old
decisive.
It was 3-2 on Old Saint Marie Dumont, but I really think WTH really wasn't threatening them too much. And then they have some turmoil. And we're not here to talk about necessarily the politics and whatnot, but the end result was that a lot of their core players that were part of that winter seasonal team left. They tried to pair up with Phoenix in the Summer Cup. It wasn't successful with that. They got 7th out of on the Summer Cup. But here's the reason why I don't think I can rank them any lower is they just added Parabellum, the Russians. These are the guys that have been I forgot they was after ranked 5th place. I got it there on my notes. And the only reason they didn't go higher than 5th place is because they lost to Hive, who went on into the finals. So I mean, Exodus, I mean, let's look at this objectively. Are they who they were when they won the winter seasonal? No. Can we say that they won't win against the teams that we've already mentioned? I don't think we can.
I mean, the thing is, Exodus is fine on its own. They have still some good people. They got helped by I fuck up the name every time. Pelipulurum? What was it?
Parabellum?
Parabellum, thank you, Pelipulum. Which was rebranded because they were Lost Squad or Lost Legion. I always fuck up the name. And before that, there were also another community. I mean,
I think this is going to be this is another potential pick. They with Parabellum adding on to there. Now, granted, here's the thing right now about Exodus: they are not registered for either the Premier League or the winter seasonal. There's one spot, the fall seasonal. There's one spot left. Parabellum was a recent addition. I think you're going to see Exodus get in on the fall seasonal, look to reestablish some of their glory, some of that prestige. Glovey's still at the helm. He's come back. There's enough things. Yeah, they this is almost like the Rocky team, if you will, Digi.
Rocky team, eh?
This is the Rocky team.
This is like Rocky 2 or 1. I think Mr. T did put him down a bit. So I think there's some reformations that are going to have to happen. It's cusp. I'd call this team on the cusp. They've lost a good component out and broke off into other teams. I don't think that they're going to be top 3 in the upcoming, but I hope they do continue to play competitive and get in on that game slot you were saying, because I would rank them way out if they're not going to participate. I think this is a constantly evolving list, is what we should take out of this is, I think this team could go up or it could go down. So
let's be
what
honest.
happens.
That's all teams. Let's be fair. That's the thing with all these. They could go up or down. But Exodus, I think Exodus things they had some amazing. I mean, seasonal winners, things like that.
Yeah, that's past glory as a different.
I know. But they still have some. They still have some of the old veterans that know how to teach the younger ones.
Glovey pissed me off on Artie every time I play against him. I know I'm gonna die at least 20 times to artillery. So that's Glovey. That's right. So I think this team, I if I had to make a prediction, 10's fine, but I could see them falling into the 12, 13, 14 range after a couple games. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I think if you see one of those lower teams pick up a win against Exodus, it's going to be kind of one of those, hey, they're in a rebuilding phase, or this isn't the Exodus of old. Meanwhile, you see Exodus pick up one of the teams that we're going to talk about here coming up. I think you're saying, hey, they're on the right track. There's something of a nature. Whether this be Rocky 1 or Rocky 2, now that they're paired with the Russians, I don't know, but
that's Rocky 3.
Yeah, exactly. So let's get to who we're going to rank above. Who we're going to rank above Exodus. And I think we got to go CNUT on this one. I think we got to give some a new competitive community per se, the Chinese National United Team. And I actually got that spelled wrong, a little bit different, but it is Chinese National United Team. Really hasn't made it onto any international competitions. I know they have their own Asian internal scrims, but dude, this is a combination of Ranger, CTR, ARO, ICF, Jump, Alpha. I mean, when you just take that many communities and you can pick the best people from them for a competition, that is going to produce a really good team. And I think we've already seen the results of some of that with ARO in the 18v18, where I think they just got to third place, if I remember correctly, those matches this morning.
Correct.
So I think this is here. They've gotten a couple other matches on there. We fought them with Esprit. They fought 82nd AD. I think they've also fought BR1, TL. Granted, all those have been losses. Does that mean necessarily that we're putting them below? I don't know. What's your guys' take on CNUT?
I have to say, like, again, we played a scrim with them. They held their own, good shooters. I think they're competent in their strategies. Wow, they know how to hold a bush. I'd say, like, they're finding those down and communicating throughout their team, because I drop 1-2 out of a bush and then there'd be another one in the third bush along, that just like, oh, okay, he's here, and they would get me. So defensive, they're very strong defensively. Didn't see much breakout on the offense when we scrimmed against them. I don't think we had one airdrop put in behind us, so we were mostly up at the front line just sending back probes to just see if anything was happening, and there never was once. So they're very much red, like they're just gonna roll a tide straight at you, and not really kind of chip away at edges. That's what we noticed from one game, as Esprit de Corps versus CNUT. Past performances, like, again, I think they're up and coming. Definitely a big pool of players to pull from, so that does say a lot. And like I said, ARO being in the top 3 on the 18v18s is something to say for their gunplay.
Yeah,
Das, have you seen CNUT at all?
I was gonna say, I mean, you talk about large. If I remember correctly, CTR is 800 players they just added.
Wow.
The Asian community is going huge. But Das, have we gotten any interaction with CNUT?
Can I just for my own personal favor, can I hear Digi call out the name of the team again?
Which one? CNUT?
Lovely, I love it. Because I call him Knut. Because I'm a European, I call him Knut.
Yeah. CNUT.
Do you see the nut? Amazing.
Nut. I see a nut on my screen. He's in between me and Incheon.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah. So again, I could see these guys just with their margin of players that they have to pull from. Being under 10 makes a lot of sense to me. But again, till we see them in a tournament play, I'm here and there. We played them and they were holding fast. They were not going to give up a 5-0 loss. So
I think I know CNUT, at least because CNUT was looking out to fight against OC, and OC didn't have time. I have heard that CNUT is all right, competitive-wise. Then again, what is average, what is all right, because subgroups like War, I shouldn't probably tell any of the names, but like a low-tier community, as in competitive-wise, might say, oh, these guys are amazing, but others say, oh, they are all right. So I don't know what CNUT or CNUT. Sorry.
What do we call it? The
is-
Chinese National United Team.
Yes, the Chinese United National Teams. I mean,
Red Tide.
you mentioned that they lost their scrims against 82nd AD.
Mm-hmm.
Was it an 18 versus 18? Was it a 50 versus 50?
No, it was a 50v50. It was a 50v50.
Fucking hell!
Yeah, exactly. So when we played them, again, the play was top notch, but from what we heard, the tanking wasn't really solid. They didn't really have any organization trying to work flanks. Yeah, it was pretty much a shutout. Just kind of fight them in the front and attrition them out to take the win. So that's what we noticed. Could be like an organizational piece from like how the commanding structure goes. That could be the defining moment that sets them up or down.
Okay, so here's my thing on this one too. I think
tankers.
I think this is another potential one. If you kind of talking around those that have played them, everybody has gotten a level of respect after playing them, even if getting into a win. I think this is going to be another one where they're going to pull off an upset because much like Core, they are scrimming twice a weekend. They're getting more and more experience. They're going to find their guys. They're going to rotate those people, and they're going to find out who's in the right role in the right positions. And I was going to say, I think I had to put them in the top 10. That's at least my take. I know I'm going to hear BR1 and TL, kind of be like, well, we beat them. How are you ranking them 6 spots higher than us?
It's a power ranking.
I think the potential.
It's very much an
higher.
speculative ranking at some points too.
So, all right. So let's get talking about the fun one. All right, you ready to crack your knuckles here, Das? Not this one. Not this one. So let's go to UFR.
I'm gonna drink some more.
Yeah, getting into the Elite 8 here. No, Das, help me out here. Union Francophone?
Union Francophone.
Yeah, Francophone.
So I think this one you're probably maybe not recognizing UFR. You're probably recognizing CFR. CFR. Yeah, there it is. CFR really with the addition of 126, GFA, and Huron. Don't know too much about the sub-organizations, but what you're starting to see is a lot of these alliances forming and saying, we want to be our own organization. We want to compete in 50v50. And we want to, have that middle of our team. A lot of these teams that we're talking about all the way down in these rankings have one good tank crew or one good squad. It's a matter of building out that middle 50% of your team with those quality individuals that can hold a line, that can stop, maybe stop their top players from going around a 4 kill death ratio, maybe stop them to hold them to a 2 kill death ratio.
You're going to find the gems in the aggregate, when you have more player base. These alliances, I think, are going to be the trend as we see these competitives scale up. That's why CNUT, I think, or CNUT was where we put it. I think there's just more people to pull from. You're going to see the best of the best out of hundreds of people that are getting selected down. And
I think if you look at what UFR's done previously, fall seasonal, 4th place on the fall seasonal, winter seasonal, 9th place out of that. Remember, fall was out of 8, technically 7 because one got disqualified. Winter season was out of 16th. CFR, they've been known for their tankers, and I think on a lot of these changes, as tanks get more and more balanced to the infantry, this is where UFR is going to shine. And as these teams, get integrated, get more experience, I think UFR, this is a fair ranking for them where they're at. Das, what have you seen anything from the French team known as UFR?
A German talking about the French team. Why are you making these traps for me, John?
This whole show is supposed to be a controversy, Das. Get with the picture. I get told,
CFR.
This is what we're talking about. I'm like, boy, we're in for it now.
I know CFR. I have seen CFR. CFR are nice blokes. I have seen OC, oddly enough, Odd Company, fight against CFR, and they got steamrolled in like 25 minutes. So, again, this is like half a year ago. But the problem for me is because I was against this whole system. I know, amazing that I'm invited. But the problem is, CFR has gained more people, new people. And if they don't have enough people, they might get some people from Arro or Sorry, Aro, that's a Chinese community. From other Hive people, other communities. So they might still get some people in that have really high skill. CFR at the moment, I would say, is a nice addition. 8th place. I think they would barely make the top 10 at the moment. Not because they're shit, don't get me wrong, CFR people, love you, but because we have so many other people that are the communities that are top 10 material, so to say.
Yeah,
they're all right. Union, why did they change them? But CFR was an alright team. They did a good little fight, but overall, I would say top 10, maybe top 15. Top 15, I would gladly say CFR, sure.
Okay, and I could see that one. And I was gonna say this is always the challenge. Are we ranking them on what they've done or what they haven't done? Here's a question right now.
Power rankings are potential, baby. That's where it sits.
Matched up right now, Das. Would you put Exodus, UFR? Who would you put your money on?
That's a valid question. What would you put your money on? I'd go with UFR.
The problem is I have seen CFR like 3-4 months ago, and I've seen Exodus do some shit like half a month ago. Then again, it was a different thing. That's my personal problem, because I've seen Exodus on an 18 versus 18, and I've seen CFR like 3-4 months ago in 49 versus 49.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the format, I would say that Exodus, it's hard.
50-50 SME, and UFR is German.
Go.
So, I might have missed the start of that sentence.
So, okay, it's SME is the map. UFR is German against Exodus. Who wins?
You gotta call it a midpoint.
Horrible map choice, because SME is shit.
Yeah,
that's my personal opinion.
Yeah,
I hate SME so much.
He can't answer. He doesn't know.
That's the problem, because both teams, they both have good little additions. They have both little gimmicks that will help them in the long fight. I think in the long run, Exodus might win this one. In that constellation, Exodus might that one.
That's a shakeup. All right, from 8 to 10, so around that range, I think we're still living.
Yeah. No, that's going to be interesting. Let's get to another one here. Let's have a little bit more fun on this. Ready?
Oh boy, this one's gonna blow my mind.
Number 7. 82nd Airborne paired up with DC. No, here's the thing. 82nd Airborne Division with DC. DC does not mean anything else but DC. Exodus, Das, we got to take you off your push to talk here, because if you can't see the video right now, Das is losing his mind with 82nd AD at number 7. And we were talking about this in the pre-show, and I had to tell Das, like, just save it for the show. Save it for the show here.
Yeah.
Here's about the biggest question on this entire ranking. Are they too high or are they too low for 82nd AD? He's warming up for this one.
Fuck us. 82nd, the problem with 82nd is they are a big community, they want to grow bigger, yada yada. Quality, the thing is with 82nd AD, they could be one of the biggest fucking amazing group if they would just get somebody else on the commander seat, because they still draft Gem. And Gem is an amazing fucking squad leader. Free Gem, hashtag free Gem.
Hashtag free Gem.
I've seen Gem do some insane shit where you go, oh yeah, like Ninja Pool from DC would say, oh yeah, that dude is amazing. You see some really good shit from Gem, but then what do they put Gem in role wise? Build some garrisons for us, Gem. 82nd AD in the Summer Cup, they didn't hold one fucking point. They lost all their matches, every fucking single match. And then the 18 versus 18, where it's about actual skill. They are in the fucking finals.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that crazy? So it's one of the it's an organizational piece. Yes, it's a how they're structuring their leadership down to they've got the skill set at the bottom base shooting level, and that is the most important thing. But it's how they're being utilized is what you're saying they're failing. I agree. Yeah. I think 7's pretty generous. It was a good pickup to merge with DC. I think DC is going to bring that standard in. So that's a potential that I could see coming in if we're going to see some restructuring and kind of rebalancing on skills. Maybe 7. My heart tells me more like a 12. But I think it's even generous. Just my past impressions.
So let's go through this at the 50v50 at 82nd AD. Fall seasonal, 2020, 7th out of 8.
Yeah.
Winter seasonal, 8th out of 16th. Right there in the middle. Greyhound Cup, 3rd, I want to say, out of 10. Was in the Greyhound Cup, if I remember correctly, Das. So all of a sudden they shoot right up there. The only reason they didn't make it to final, I forgot who it was, but just shut down their artillery on Old Saint Marie Dumont. Summer Cup, you elegantly explained it, did not hold a single strong point through 4 matches and got eliminated going into the playoffs, and frankly looked the worst shape I've ever seen 82nd AD in. I mean, they were not a threat to anybody but themselves.
Because they have so much. Because nobody fucking listens to the commander. I'm sorry. This is a wound for me. Because I would like to see Jim happy, and because every time, as soon as you see, because I know some of the streamers and recorders of 82nd AD, they actually record the matches and upload them on YouTube, and you see them do some tactics, some cool tactics that Jim thinks up, and then you just hear Jim saying, "Why? Guys, build the garrison, do that, and they ignore him. If fuckers would actually listen to Jem, they could be
ignore him in a competitive. Oh, brother.
So here's the other part I put on there. They did beat CNUT May 2021. Now, based upon our previous conversation, maybe you don't rank CNUT. There it is. You don't rank CNUT as a barometer of the skill team.
I see 7, 8, and 9 being shifted into 11, 12, and 13, but.
That's fair. But here's the thing. Now, this is not the 82nd that we saw a month ago heading into this tournament. This is the 82nd plussed up with DC, who has come from Exodus. You got NVIDIA running on the sniper rifle. You got Chokaran running on the tank. You got all this stuff. You've arguably right now,
you think that's a full package?
You've got the 36 best shooters in the 18v18 now under one team. Go ahead.
Problem is both teams, DC and OC, 82nd AD are offensive players. Not because they want to be, but because they fucking can't do anything else. It's so horrible. 82nd could be so fucking amazing if they would just fucking listen to their commander anytime ever. I'm sorry, this is a really round pound. Because I've watched a lot of their matches, because now I like Germany, he's a great guy. But holy shit, they never listen. If one of those teams, 82nd or DC, actually listens and goes on we are only going to defend, they could be an enemy against Cora, which is going to be on that fucking list. If not, then holy shit. But if 82nd and Cora can, unstoppable. But if 82nd and DC are actually saying, okay, you guys are on the defense, we are on the offense, you could basically see one of the biggest fucking teams in the whole tournament for the rest of the year.
Are you talking a little KRT OC combination type deal?
Those guys.
The joke is that Das, what team are you on? What community?
I'm all community. No, I'm odd company. Even though I don't play competitive because I would be too fucking salty.
So before we get into the next one, let's let it breathe. Anything final comments?
I was gonna say, bring the blood pressure down a bit after that one. that was
the
dicey.
The chat's going on. Like somebody get Das a medic.
I knew that. Yeah, I knew it was. As soon as we got sub 10, shit was just gonna get popping. So, and I can't wait to hear every little comment after this. This one gets up on YouTube. So, I think I would shift them up, but 7. Let's go on to 6.
Oh, you shift them up higher than 7? Did you?
No, like 10, 11, 12. Like I'm going up. If they closer to the top.
If they actually manage to say, okay, you guys on the defense, you in the offense, they could be top 5. Honestly, they could be top 5 because if they actually focus on their actual fucking job, they're amazing. But the problem is they're just doing fuck all.
Hold on, I know I had to use this here. All right, we're gonna have to throw a flag on that one. All right,
sorry.
Top 5. I was gonna say, Das, you got the list in front of you in the show notes. You're looking at that top 5, thinking that they can pull it down.
Maybe.
Okay.
I can see. It's like having upset, but if you gotta leave it as it is, leave it as it is. Let's go to number 6.
Somebody in the chat says, somebody in the chat said, "Who blew the rape whistle?"
I just want them to put Jem on something else. It's like saying, okay, we have Freddie Mercury on this show, but we put them on drums. Why the fuck would you do that? It's so insane.
All right.
So,
we got,
okay, next team. Sorry.
Move it on down. Number 6.
All right, so let's
Who
go
we
ahead and
got?
get to the obvious choice for Das to calm down on. 50% of his own community. Yeah, we got KRT, OC, Knights of the Round Table, and Odd Company hailing for the United Kingdom and the European
group.
Union. Yeah,
Gave us the best game we've ever played in, Sean. I think we continue to remember.
Speaking
that
of
memory.
blood pressure, yeah, I was gonna say. So let's go through come to their highlights here, and Das, you can go ahead and do anything to add to this. Winter seasonal 4th place in a nail biter. They were able to get onto 4th place. Actually, fun fact about that, Das, I don't know if you know this. KRT and OC actually got more kills than the HLTC by like a 200 margin, but only like it was down to the last minute on that. Greyhound Cup, OC was the one to participate in that. KRT does this kind of something a little separate. They got 5th place, a little bit. I think this is another one where the teams are better together than they are separately. Put them back together, they go 3-2 loss against WTH, which is a solid performance. Talking to a few of the guys, they actually said, "Hey, we know what we did wrong. We know we had the opportunity to win that. That could have been a win for them." If you look back against OC, 18v18, 4th place performance. I mean, to me, this is a solid team. I think this is really kind of where you get up to that upper echelon of top tier communities. You look at KRT and OC; they're doing everything right. They're just, you got to put the grind in. They got to put the grind in and go forward. But Das, where you at on OC? You're actually, I was going to say, you're actually one of the more critical guys about your own community when broadcasting.
We could call it critical. I would say shit talking most of the time.
Not constructive at all.
No, but I see my OC boys, my Odd Company boys playing, and if people watch my stream then the things, yay, advertisement. I am very harsh on them most of the time, but then again, because I know what they could do, and they. The thing is with OC at the moment, Odd Company, they had some really backstory of OC. They are actually the competitive team of the 82nd. 82nd's a competitive team left like 80-90%, and they became OC. That's the origin of OC. They're actually the high competitive team of 82nd back in the day when they were doing the finals and things. And then everybody left and made OC, and so they actually have some really good players. But the problem is with some of the, let's not talk about it long, but some of the changes in the meta and hell it loose, yada yada yada. OC has lost a few of their veterans. And you can actually notice when like 1 or 3 of the veterans are coming back, you actually see we had a bit of a downfall lately. Then Steven, one of our Scottish OC members, come back, bam, going up instantly. The thing is with OC that they have some really good players, some veterans, but none of them are really playing. That's the problem. So they're trying to get. Yeah, they're trying to get all their new players in. They're playing with recruits in 18 versus 18, 15 versus 15s. Yeah, they need to get their shit together. That's the problem.
So here's the great thing about competitive play. When that battle horn sounds, when those war drums start beating, people come back. People come back because they want a shot. They want a shot at redemption from the last one. I see KRT and OC kind of having some little unfinished business from the last ones. And I was going to say, at least on the KRT side. No, you did not feel me on that one, Das?
Oh, I thought as in a little rivalry. No, so KRT and OC are always looking at each other. Lovely.
It's a
hard eyes.
relationship.
Then again, because we are also playing, when I stream and things, I actually play with some KRT people because they are nice people. They are a bit wacky people, but they are lovely people. And OC and KRT, they are not about really the skill, but they just click with each other. That's the thing.
It just works. It just works.
Yes, no, I would be happy if they were in the top 5. I think 6 is fair to this group. I think they're just solid all around. I would say they are the full package as they are paired together. Playing against them, best games I've ever had. Played with them. Love the KRT guys, the OC guys. Solid in almost all the aspects. I could see an upset from this and down. I could see any of these teams winning. Except maybe one, but I'm not going to say.
The thing is, because I was against the whole judging thing, but if I would say OC, KRT, the combination of them going together, I would say OC could be top 5 in their big term. They could also be top 20 in their worst term. As you know, like half the team is not playing, KRG is not having time. If in the worst constellation of, these players are playing, they could be top 20. And in the best constellation, they could be top 5 because they have some really good players. But it's not like the top 5 people are actually playing. That's the problem.
But you could almost say
lost a lot of the veterans.
You can almost say that
we're
the same thing
go ahead.
about everybody like ranked 15th and above. You can almost say the same thing about them.
Yeah. We're ranking this as the best of the best is playing in a
Fair
game.
enough.
In against, I don't know, and this is where I think maybe we save it for after we've gone through the full list. Do we need a standard like map layout trying to agree on what's the fairest map will be fun, but how would you define a balanced match play and make that the metric standard for teams to play against, to say one's better than the other?
You just love saying metric, you fucker.
Yes.
I'm going to say Premier. He's going to say metric. We're going to have the Premier metric.
The Premier metric. I think we save that for after this discussion, but get on through. Right. I like KRT OC as number 6. I think that's a good positioning for them. Das, calm down a bit. Let's move on to the next heat.
Number 5, ready? And this was it. This one, I got to put the camp, formerly known as HLT, Hell Let Loose Training Camp. Because of that match back in the winter seasonal, down to the wire, head-to-head matchup, and good justice, I couldn't rank the training camp below KRT and OC.
I will be back in 1 minute, sorry.
All right.
Just continue. I don't know the team either, so just continue talking. Sorry.
Das has to go take his blood pressure medication here. But I think for the training camp here, they definitely got the profile. They've had, the perennial third place in the fall seasonal, third place in the winter seasonal, DreamHack Invitational, second place, where they only lost to WTH, and that was on Utah. Win 4, no points were only the midpoint capture. HLTC is still a solid community.
Yeah.
Das, not Das. Digi, it's a little hard for us to kind of talk about it. I think you're
being too generous. 5, considering how they just got their number 10 treatment. Big components pulled away. I think they still have a package to play top competitive, but I don't think they're in number 5 anymore because, as you said, number 2 DreamHack, that was with the incorporation of the past. Same with the winter seasonal, same with the fall seasonal. I really want to see what happens after the seasonal and other tournaments have gone through. But I think number 5 is a little generous, depending on just based how we treated the Exodus ranking. I would put this more around like 9, or like the CNUT place.
Throwing that down there.
Throwing that down there.
You still look at who they have on their roster. They still have.
I know.
They still have some quality shooters.
Roster. It's for sure they do. But I think there's a big integral piece that pulled away. Same as with Exodus.
Indeed.
I'm back.
So
hey, he's back.
So that's number 5 to the training camp, now known as the camp. We'll see what they
for the camp. One thing I can, because I know you guys were at the training camp. The only thing I can say about the camp is horrible fucking decision on the name. As a German, the name change is abysmal horrible. Das Lager, yeah. What the fuck did they think about changing the name? Sorry, that's not about the skill, but that name change, Jesus fucking Christ.
I think it was implicitly to say they're not dedicated to one community or one game themselves, but fair enough. All right, so let's get on to number 4 here. And I was going to say, I think everybody's got their list. Who we're going to talk about. This one, we haven't mentioned the 116th, the Greyhounds. We've had them on the show. But, go ahead, Das, give me the proper pronunciation.
116. Panzerdivision Windhund.
It's so good. It's so much better than I could have done.
Because it's my actual native language, that's why.
But
Panzerdivision Windhund. Greyhound, yes.
So let's go through their resume on this one, why they're up here. I think you got the Greyhound Cup co-champions on that. Granted, I think at the time, if I remember correctly, they were paired with STDB, if I remember correctly on that. You also had the German League. This is how pronounced the Germans are in this game. They had their own league. They got third place out of that. The Summer Cup, they got third place that we just finished. They got third place. The only 2 teams that are above them are ranked higher in this power ranking. 116th, known for great armor play, known for great infantry play, integrating the armor and infantry together. I think, in general, I think the Germans are pushing competitive HLL to in a faster pace and a newer direction that a lot of teams are only, have only envisioned but haven't matured yet to. The Germans are there, in my opinion.
All the schnitzel.
All the schnitzels.
All the schnitzel.
I mean, the thing is, because nobody ever had a German team in the cup. No, but when I played HLT, it was like 2019. Nobody heard about the Germans, as in, those were the baddies, no? Clear. But not as in, there's a German community that actually is dangerous in the international space, so to say. And then suddenly, without any kind of warning, the Germans, the Team Phoenix, 116th, 104th, 38, 104th back then, all the German teams flooded in, the Landwehrjäger, all those fuckers just flooded in, and they were amazing.
They were great.
It was like a fresh breath of air suddenly.
Yeah. And it's, in the amount of German communities, and I was gonna say, I see the chat going right now asking for I don't even try to pronounce STTB, was the latrine community.
Yeah.
The Stormtrooper goes to Kush.
That's a oh my god.
We can only try.
We can only try.
Stoßtrupp Donnerbalken.
Hey, you don't need to get angry.
Stormtroop shithouse.
Yeah,
Thunder Barrow.
So I did not include STDB on this list because they haven't themselves registered as one of the other ones. I can see STDB coming back with 116th on this one for the fall seasonal. But yeah, the entire German community, and we'll talk about this when we get up to a few more. There is a premier German community that has been established. Was no secret, right? It's core where they're at right now. Maybe not. So I think the 116th, for those that haven't played them before, those that have been lower down on the list that haven't played them, you've got to respect every single minute that you play 116th. They will make you pay. They will be able to identify an opening or a weakness in your team, and they will be able to make you pay on it. They've just gone head to head with a lot of these other communities. It's going to be a great match to anybody that goes against this one.
Yeah.
So let's get to number 3. Ready?
Yes.
The 5, previously known as the Hive, who does get my number 1 clan logo on that. I love I love what they did with that clan logo. Number 1 clan logo, number 3 power ranking. The French coming in strong. If you look back, and I was going to say, this is more of kind of the recent. We're looking at what they've recently performed, who they've recently gone against. Greyhound Cup 2021, co-champions on that. The France tournament, specifically, they were the champions. Summer Cup, we just watched that, DAS. They got second place against Core. They actually, once again, back on Utah. Got a little back and forth there on was it the De La Grande, the 4th point for the Allies over there. They also beat KRT and OC on August 1st. So, that was a good scrim for them, put them up. Granted, we focused much on this 50-50. Raptors, FMS, U-Hate, EC, AVC, another one of these alliance teams that are coming together, picking the best up. What's up?
You got DOS with the banner here.
Because they have like 7 fucking banners of their communities.
Yeah. But see, here's the thing, DOS. The 5, remember, CFR is part of UFR on it. The 5 doesn't have CFR in it. It's got Raptors and FMS, U-Hate, all these other guys cleaning up there.
I'd like to just say I think this is a fair valuation. I watched them do the Summer Cup 2021. That was a pretty intense game that they played there, as you were saying on the Grand. I think this is a pretty fair matchup to be number 3. Co-champions Greyhound Cup, France tournament champions, Summer Cup 2nd place, and the KRT OC on August 1st game. Like that to me, like if you're definitely in the right running for number 3 with these guys.
Yeah, no,
I could see them taking number 1 easily too. There's potential out of this.
I don't know if I'm going with you on that one. I mean, we just had the head-to-head matchup against Core. Now, before we flip to it, we said there's only 2 teams left, WTH and Core, that are not on the list. We had a matchup against Core. Core won it 5-0. And with that said, WTH got back a point against Core. The 5 got back a point against Core. 5 was winning some tank battles, especially on Utah. Tank engagements are so critical. I was gonna say I don't know if I'm ready to put them in the top 2, but then again, you face a team 5 times.
5 times, you'll eventually get a win. I think anybody out of this top 3 we've selected could easily beat each other. So depending on the map, the placement, I think these are really solid guys. Yeah.
So let's go ahead and do it. We got chat going.
Keep them at 3,
yeah,
but I think the next 2 you got here make a lot of sense as well.
So let's go have a little fun with chat. Let's go have a little fun in chat. Top second place team, who would you guys put in, Core or WTH? Go ahead and just type it in the chat because I think this is what now. Granted,
come on now. Come on.
I was gonna say number 2 team
into a popularity contest.
I was gonna say, and I think this goes
more.
No, I think this goes into it. You see right now in the chat, it's actually evenly split. It's pretty evenly split between WTH
but
or
don't troll. I see you, Karen. Don't troll, you fucker. Jesus Christ.
So I was gonna say it's on there. I think for me though, I gotta put Core as number 2, which by default means WTH is number 1. I don't have my applause on me right there, but
disagree.
If I was gonna say let's have some fun with it, Das. Let's have some fun with it.
I'm gonna stay silent for this one.
So
Core, yeah, okay, you continue.
Okay, so let's introduce it. And let's pick some meat on that bone there. Core, now known as Corvus Rex, previously was permanently intoxicated, married up with the 104th. They have played with each other, against each other, Greyhound Cup. They were both co-champions on different sides of the battlefield. Paired up in the Summer Cup 2021. They have come together as Core. To me, I think everything that I've seen from the outside looking in, they are the top German team and probably the best competition to WTH. Point in fact, just yesterday, WTH and Core played a friendly scrim. So you got to count what that is. And Core beat WTH, albeit that wasn't necessarily each one of their competitive teams. As they rode in, if you look back previously, WTH 5-0'd Core on Old St. Marie du Mont right before Update 10. I mean, I think this is a battle of 2 heavyweights right here. Das, let me have it, buddy.
Well. It's the Americans again with judging German teams. No, but the thing is, because normally I would say, oh yeah, WTH, they are veterans, they have played quite some time, and they have also gained some new members, which were high-ranking skill members.
And never lost.
Members, like Wild German, some other fuckers, like Trotzche from the German communities. They also gained some of the German communities, WTH. But then again, Core, which I definitely don't would advertise, which I definitely do right now. They have played, I think the last 3 matches was a 5-0 against them, where they lost. No, fair enough, the first match. Then a 3-2, where they won, Core. Yeah. And then another 3-2, where they won. So I think Core at the moment actually knows how to handle WTH, which means WTH can't use any of their normal or irregular tactics, which means I would say Core is still fucking top 1. Okay. Because Core has big balls.
Interesting perspective.
All right. So would you say it's a shared number 1 or it's a 1-2 still situation?
No. Core is 1.
Okay, Core is 1.
I do like my WTH boys, Bobby. Hi. No, but I think the Germans. The thing is with Core, they have gained they basically, like, I'm making a nerd reference to Star Trek. They have basically assimilated all the people from Pi in other communities, like Offizierscasino, okay, in other communities, and they just became stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger, and they're now a fucking horrible force. Which means that, according to Let Loose community lore, at some point next 2 or 3 months, they're gonna probably have like a little what is it called?
A spat?
An internal problem, and some people might split from Core and make a new community. Just like PPS has, like 82nd had, like Exodus had, like all the big communities.
It's the season of the division, yes.
There's
exactly. that'll be continuing to happen as it happens. So
I think to me,
Yeah.
this really boils down to, because I got WTH's profile built up. Granted, as you said, WTH, didn't necessarily start all buttons themselves. They've had some additions, runner ones. They put their overall record up here: 35 wins, 16 losses, including last night's yesterday's battle against Core, which they did lose to DOS Point. Fall seasonal champions, winter seasonal second place to Exodus, which was a good back and forth, good battle. DreamHack Invitational champions. I mean, when you look at the display cabinet of trophies, WTH has been up there. I think this really comes down to the new guard versus the old guard. Core to me is pushing the new strats, the new coordination, the new things of that against just solid, top-notch players that make shots that kill tanks. That's what WTH has. And at the end of the day, that's how they win. They're smart.
Consistency.
Yeah.
This is a thing like a fucking Rocky 5 where, it's WTH, Rocky Balboa, the old fighter, but it's also the new, really aspiring, the great new fighter that's coming into the thing, the Coroner, and who is going to win? The simulation says, WTH is going to win, but in the end, it might be a point victory to fucking Coroner, because Coroner is amazing, and I do know WTH, and WTH is amazing, but I think at the moment, Coroner has assimilated so many fucking communities and so many good players that they might actually win against Core at the moment.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's going to be interesting. And I love the fact, here's the other point. Let's give a credit to Core on this one. Core is in both the HL Premier League and the Fall Seasonal. These guys will get more reputation, more map knowledge, more experience in 50v50 competitive play that I think WTH, while they haven't necessarily been sleeping during the, the Greyhound Cup or the Summer Cup, they've been doing their scrims. I think eventually that experience in competitive 50v50 play might be the thing that takes over WTH if they don't adapt or continue to push that kind of the integration. I just go back. Core's integration between their armor and infantry has just been freaking amazing to watch, and it's been a joy to highlight in the competitive play that I don't see from WTH. I see WTH having some of the best tankers that win tank fights, and that's been enough. Okay, go ahead.
The thing is with fucking Cora, because I have because you and Jenny got the finals and some other matches. I got a few of the Cora matches, and I have been, because I'm a German. I actually have streamed some of the Cora matches as well. And Cora, the thing is about Cora is because they do some wacky fucking shit with tanks. Because what you normally see in a hell loose competitive match is, the tank is going to drive forward and shoot the enemy and get some marks. Cora, the tankers actually leave their tanks to run around and mark for their own tanks the enemy shit, which on the paper makes no fucking sense. But in competitive, they actually fucking dominate all the tank battles, which is insane.
Yeah, so let's do a little fun with this, because this is already going to be a long episode. We knew it was going to be. So let's kind of look these side by side. Commander, does WTH or Core have the advantage, or is it a push? Is it the same on there?
WTH.
I'll go WTH also. I think WTH has the commander advantage. Digi, you want to get in on this one?
You guys are just letting I knew what I said. Like, we're talking comp, and I'm bringing in DasAltberg. I'm like, that's gonna be a 2-hour show. No, WTH, I think commanding it, that just goes back to the fundamentals of it. I think time and experience is gonna win you the commander seat, and I think that's WTH's grind, really.
So let's go to so that's the commander role. Let's go infantry. Who has the advantage? Core, WTH, or push?
Depends on the point and depends on the actual.
And this is where I think we were talking here. Again, what's the standard? I think there needs to be a standardized map and layout. God, give us the tools, developers, to pick points, and then we can have an actual metric battle set up. That way you don't have to keep flipping, and then have this duke out on that map. But I think it's really hard to say. Like, even if you're 1 or 2, you could be 1 if you are 2. So Core could be 1, WTH could be 2. I think as we ranked it, I would still give edge to WTH. Out of 5 games, I think they're winning 3. But
That's fair.
the inverse could be said to core. I mean, I think it's still going to become, it's not going to be a clear one team wins all 5 games. I think it's going to be, it's going to be an aggregate like of that, matchup, over time. I think it's still, the edge still sits with WTH. But as far the infantry question you ask, I don't know. That's a pretty tough toss. I think core's got a lot of solid things going for it infantry wise. From the squad lead tactics, I think core is pretty solid.
I'll say this. I have always been impressed by PI, Permanently Intoxicated, and their individual level of play of infantry.
Yeah.
Now, is that enough to offset the middle 50% of WTH? Because let's remember, WTH does 50v50 practices internal to them. They're no pun intended. The core of WTH, that middle body of WTH, I think core has more top end shooters, but I think the advantage goes to WTH when you look at the depth of their skill. So I would actually say commander and infantry, slight edge, WTH. Awesome. I see I'm getting a reaction there.
I'm more core on that infantry though.
The thing is with core, because they have some more, what is the English term? Experimental shooters, which sounds like doesn't make any sense, but they have some really weird. Core comes with some really fucking weird tactics, which oddly enough, if you actually ask Core, what are your tactics? We don't actually do anything. That's the thing, because Core doesn't do any kind of, the members don't do anything at all, and it's just the tactics guys coming up with shit actually. But the tactics shit actually works.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's go ahead. Let's get out to round it out. Tanks, we kind of already said. I think I give the edge to core armor over WTH armor. And I see Star-Lord in chat. Star-Lord, I have nothing but the respect and utmost for you. But I was going to say WTH's armor is on point. They integrate well with their infantry, and they make things happen.
Yeah. I say about being a buddy of fucking Wild Bill, he's going to fucking punch me afterwards. Because you're always in a tank. Jesus Christ.
He's in a recon tank. It's not even a real tank.
He's not. He actually, in the Greyhound Cup, Bill was actually in one of the normal, I think a Sherman or something, and was driving with 3 other tanks into the enemy hard point. He actually knows how to play other tanks as well.
It's just not
We just know him for his recon vehicle videos.
I think I'll look at the chat right now. I think I just got off of Star-Lord's Christmas card list.
I love you, Star-Lord. I think you are the best tanker in the game. There you go.
So
don't care what Inchon says.
Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough. Okay, so obviously artillery.
Oh god,
we give an artillery advantage because here's one thing from I don't know if I've actually ever seen Core's artillery have an impact. Now, does that mean it's not good, or does that mean it's just being overshadowed by everything else that goes good?
I can give you some insider info.
Go ahead.
No, not info, but I actually talked to one of the, I'm not going to name the community, but somebody from one of the communities that have not been named yet, but are big on tactics, actually mentioned that if you shut down Core's artillery, which is surprisingly not offensive but supportive, you actually take a big chunk out of them. I can't judge that because I have not seen Core's artillery that much myself, but from the internal secret little Discord informations, apparently Core's artillery is more focused on the supportive artillery than on the, we're going to waste everybody that's coming in artillery kind of thing.
Yeah. I was going to say, I think this is an area where WTH gets the edge on it. I've seen WTH's artillery just shut down entire sides of a map, and they work well better together. I think that's probably one of the weakest areas of Core. Well, I don't want to say weakest. Probably one of the greatest areas of opportunity for improvement. Yeah. Is that better?
Mm-hmm.
For
it's
Core.
All right.
It's all right. We'll take it. And then
again, Mr. Inchon, the thing is why WTH, because I have seen WTH before, I don't know, but no, other boys, they had some all right artillery, but then there was a bit of a shift in Exodus, and some of the Exodus members and some other communities went to WTH, and since then the actual artillery has become stronger and much more ballsy, and since then the artillery has become much more better. It's not like the artillery was shit before, but now it has that extra
the ganache, if you will, the little panache. Is it panache? Not ganache, panache. Yeah, so
I think that was a good term. Yeah.
I think, Digi, I think through all this, I mean, we were basically saying we want to see
Well, I
Core
had
and
fun.
WTH. We want to see Core and WTH do a best of 5 series.
Yeah.
I want to see a best of 5. You know, I think all this will change. We're getting, like we said in the last, we're getting right into the competitive season. There's lots of tournaments coming up. There's lots of chances for the seeding to change dramatically. And I think we are going to see that seeding change dramatically and really kind of confirm what we had here. I don't think we had a bad list. And just to recap what we had Esprit de Corps and Goff not ranked, but we had PBS, ARC, LPF, Tango Easy in the 1922. The 16 to 18 was 20th Panzer Grenadiers with 2nd AD, PKKA, CSP. The 15th ranked team, we had the Line and BR1. The 14th ranked team, we had Finns Let Loose. The 13th was the 38th. The 12th was Sturm Elite. The 11th was 501 and Bastardos. And the 10th, we put Exodus. And then everything down from there, I think this is gonna be flip flopping. There's gonna be a lot of change in throughout that whole list, 1 to 10, I believe.
Yeah, I think you kind of have these tiers of competitive HL right now, where you have a very, very tight knit like top 4, and then a little bit wider kind of teams that kind of in the middle. You see some fluctuations on there. Overall, though, I mean, I think this is kind of a great way to kick off these 2 events coming in. I know the Premier League's going to be doing their own thing. There's still 1 slot left open for the fall seasonal. My money is that Exodus is going to get in there. Maybe this might be the push for Exodus to want to increase their rankings.
Yes.
But Das, I know regardless of what it is, I know Das, you're going to be covering it. You're going to be bringing it to the people.
Probably. I think the problem with Exodus is not shit at the moment. Then because you could say, oh, Exodus lost some of their veteran members. No, Exodus at the moment, I think the biggest problem is that they have to restructure the internal parts, as who's the squad leader, who's doing that now? Because even if you play 100 times with the same community, you might say, oh, this guy is great, but after some time you might say, oh, this guy's even greater. Better. I'm a German guy. Sorry, let me just
great.
And let me highlight one thing. I mean, even in this panel right here that we have, hopefully you guys were taking a look at all the flags of all the different regions that these teams are coming from.
Yes.
You have the Chinese, you have South American, North American, Finns. Dude, I want to see the Finns, man. I literally want to claim the first match that the Finns go. I want to broadcast that one. But you got Finn, Czechoslovakian, not just the general EU. So you already got that?
I did like Finns, I think, like half a year ago.
No, I meant for the fall season. I meant this upcoming.
Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
The upcoming season, yes.
Yeah, no, I think that, I mean, just showing the spread of these competitive teams, new teams getting involved, definitely looking forward to it. Let's go ahead and wrap up the show here. It's been a long one. Been a long one. Yeah, we're gonna have to end. We can do the reaction show at the end where we just have like.
I'm out after that.
What? I mean, I would love to.
Dad's got another 3 hours in him. He's still got more booze in the cabinet. I think, as you were saying there, just goes to show the Hell Let Loose community is very international, and there's more teams coming in every day. I think competitively, it's growing. It definitely just goes to show with the amount of tournaments and leagues starting up, continuing on. We're going to see a list that continues to evolve and teams that continually get better, get worse, dissolve, transform, shift out, and improve. So I think it's always going to be an exciting thing to see what happens in the competitive leagues of Hell Let Loose, because it's always going to be changing.
Indeed. Das, I'll give you a last word. Thank you for being on the show. It's been great. Any final comments?
Please pronounce the Brazilian team Sturm Elite, not Storm Elite.
From Guadalajara.
I heard Digit say so many times wrong.
SEDH.
I've apologized to people that commentated. They're like, no, we just expect you to mess it up now, and John.
Yeah,
it's
part of the it's the stick of the show.
But I mean, then again, we Germans don't really care. But it's just a little shout out.
Yeah. Well, I think after this, you automatically have an invite once these events get done. Let's do a wrap up show. Let's see where the list was at here. Let's look back at it, see little clips of you and me, and then just shaking his head, facepalm moments. It'll be fun, but definitely catch DasAltberg stream. He's going to be having a lot of the commentary, bringing the games live, point of views, admin cam. He does an amazing job. Check out the Premier League starting next week, and the fall seasonal starting October 3rd. For all of us here on the panel and all the teams, we hope you guys have had a little fun with the power ranking, maybe a little controversy. Once again, it comes from a place of love. But we'll see you on next episode of Hell, Let's Talk.
Exactly.